Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, heading back out to the Pac-12 and taking a look at a very exciting matchup. Washington State heading on the road to play UCLA, two quarterbacks that you talk about pure arm talent. Some of the most talented quarterbacks that you'll see in the whole entire country. Cam Ward, low-key Dell, putting together a sneaky Heisman Trophy campaign. And then Dante Moore. I get a tough outing against Utah. Offensive line didn't do him any favors. But when you watch him play, like you see the arm talent, and this dude is going to be special, already is pretty special. Really excited to get into this one. Now, before we do, just want to say again, thank you to you guys. Like the support you guys have shown, especially the Pac-12 fans. Y'all know we've really liked talking about this conference, talking about the teams. The support's been phenomenal. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, let us know in the comment section how you guys are feeling for this game. Dill, I'm going to give you the T-box here. Washington State, a darling of the 2023 season, heading on the road to play a UCLA team that is still damn good. How are we feeling here?
I mean, you talk about what Cam Ward's done in terms of picking up his game, and he's just playing faster. That's like the best way I can describe it, and it's allowing his arm talent to really show. It felt like last year there was a lot of like hold the ball for a long time, start scrambling around, and like kind of play some chaos ball a little bit. Now the ball is coming out really quick, very accurate. You see the arm strength he has. He can get the ball to any spot on the field, and he's using his athleticism when he needs to, but he's not really relying on it anymore. Man, talk about, he's been one of those guys. He's just picked his game up to a new level. In Washington State looks like an extremely dangerous team now.
I sent a text message about 12 months ago to this day almost to the boys saying Cam Ward is Pat Mahomes. Now, maybe I was a little premature and obviously semi-joking, but the arm talent, the ability to throw from all sorts of different arm angles, like that arm talent is special that Cam Ward has. Dill, I think you have to shout out Ben Arbuckle, the new Washington State OC. This offense, especially with Cam Ward and the progressions he's taken, it's so fun to watch. Like attacking Oregon State, all sorts of different levels. You said it best. They can attack really any part of the field you want, and Ben Arbuckle is using full advantage. There are not many quarterbacks that can attack all sorts of parts of the field like Cam Ward. Ben Arbuckle is taking his talent and really catering an offense that is extremely dynamic. Now, it has its biggest test on the road against the UCLA defense that we started talking Dante Moore, but Dill, the story of this UCLA team is on the defensive side of the ball because they've been dominant.
Yeah, and Dan Lynn's coming in doing an incredible job.
Yes,
we thought, like, obviously as Michigan fans, we love the idea of bringing in the Raven alums. Like those guys come in, they turn defense around. Dan Lynn's done a really good job. He's got this secondary playing a little more aggressive, trying to get their hands on balls. And again, not just letting teams throw 8 to 10 yard passes pretty consistently and just work it down the field. So he's got his hands full. And obviously for UCLA, it starts up front with their defensive line because that unit it is just incredible.
That's where my eyeballs are going to be. Like, if you want to try to slow down this Cam Ward, Washington State Cougs offense, it's got to start up front. This is a UCLA team that's sacking the quarterback on 10% of their dropbacks. Latu, I mean, arguably the best pure pass rusher in the entire country. The Murphy brothers, really good. A couple of really good interior defensive linemen, good linebacker core. This front seven is going to test Washington State in a big way. Now, what you're excited for Washington State is Cam Ward. You said it best, like playing a little bit faster. That ball is coming out of his hands awfully quick. They do a really good job scheming up really quick throws, getting it out to the perimeter in space. That my eyeballs are on. And again, you want to try to stop Cam Ward, I think, is getting him off his spot a little bit. If Latu, the Murphy brothers, can do that, I think they have a chance at potentially slowing down this Cougs offense.
I mean, that's been the thing. And you don't even really know what this Washington State offensive line is exactly because, like, the ball's just coming out very quick. And they have nullified pass rushes and a good defensive front for what Oregon State has, and they just couldn't do anything because, again, the ball's coming out so quickly. So that's going to be the test. I think, like, they're going to need to find some way to keep the ball in his hands because, frankly, when you saw Cam Ward's game break down a little bit, it was when you forced him to hold the football. And I think when the play broke down, as much as, like, the athleticism, the off-platform throwing, that's not his game. I think it's sitting in the pocket, being able to rip it and getting the ball out quickly. That's when this team looks really sharp. So that's what I'm be interested in. And again, is can this secondary hold up and give it like 2-3 seconds to let this defensive line get home? Because that's the only recipe I think to stop Cam Ward right now. Because
another thing that I think you have to mention is Washington State hitting the big play. I mean, that is what killed Oregon State. They have some legit burners on the outside who can really stretch it vertically. So not only can they attack that short intermediate range, getting the ball out of the Cam Ward's hands quickly, but if you want to come up and try to take that away, this Cougs offense, like it can attack that deeper third. I do want to flip sides here. This UCLA offense, I know it had a tough showing on the road against Utah. And yeah, it didn't look great. The biggest concern is obviously the offensive line, but for Dante Moore, like as a true freshman, going on the road to play Utah, a defense that is that good, I mean, that was a tough spot. I still am really high on this UCLA offense and what they can do in terms of putting points on the board and manufacturing drives.
And honestly, they did do a little bit of shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, Dante Moore missed some throws where he had guys open, a couple bad drops that were easy touchdowns. Like UCLA didn't play a great offensive football game, and therefore I don't think you really got to see how good UCLA can be. Because again, you watch Dante Moore. He maybe missed a few throws, but like you see the throws he makes are just out of this world. Like throws that are better than any throw in the I mean, just his way to get the ball again to every part of the field and really accurate and layering throws over zone coverages. He's just really special. And again, Washington State, like I guess their one chance to nullify him is those tackles for UCLA. That was weak. I mean, they were getting crushed by Joan Ellis and Logan Fanu. I don't know that they're in much of an easier matchup here with Brendan Jackson and Ron Stone.
That's by far, like on the note sheet, that's exactly what you're highlighting. Can this, and that was our biggest concern coming in. Like Dante Moore, Ethan Gard, whoever was playing quarterback, we knew the quarterback play was going to be good. Really good running back room. I think J. Michael Sturdivant, one of the best wide receivers in the Pac-12. The question was, can this UCLA offensive line hold up? And against Utah, it really didn't. Like Dante Moore did not have a chance back there on a lot of his dropbacks. And you mentioned it best. Like on the stat sheet, Ron Stone and Brendan Jackson aren't necessarily popping off the tape or popping off the stat sheet. When you turn on these games, I mean, you talk about elite pass rusher duo. We talked about Liatu Latu and the Murphy brothers. I mean, Ron Stone and Brendan Jackson can get it done. And if you're Washington State, that is exactly what you're trying to do now. The
one thing UCLA can do to slow them down, though, is get the run game going.
Yes.
You look, I mean, these linebackers just really had no answer to the zone scheme that Oregon State was running. I mean, again, I think Oregon State's run scheme is probably a little better. I think their offensive line is certainly better than what UCLA has, but they both run a similar scheme. And frankly, UCLA's got two very good backs that they can hit you with. So that, again, if they can get the run game going, I think those two didn't make a huge impact in the Oregon State game, and I think the run game was a big part of that.
Yes.
That probably will be the way to stop them, because, again, I just don't think these tackles can go when they know the pass is coming and go block these.
If you're UCLA, you want to stay out of third and long. And that, I mean, you talk about staying out of third and long, that's winning first and second down and running the football.
And that's what Utah could do to them, but Utah has a much better interior than I think what Washington State is working with, because, again, the linebacker play is going to be better.
I think you said it best. My biggest concern if I'm Washington State is you look at how Oregon State ran the football. Like those stretch zone schemes, those linebackers really struggling with the run fits. Damian Martinez and Deshaun Fenwick for Oregon State eating that Washington State team up. UCLA runs a very similar offensive scheme in terms of running the football. They want to run that stretch zone, have those running backs get downhill. If you're Washington State, you had a bye week. You had able to watch the film on UCLA, but also look at what you can get better at in Oregon State. That's the story of the game. As talented as Dante Moore and J. Michael Sturdivant are, if Washington State struggles to stop the run like they did against Oregon State, this is going to be a tough game to go on the road and win this football game. Dill, let's get to the pick here. Washington State heading on the road to UCLA. 3.5-point dogs. Who you taking here?
I'm going to stick with the Bruins. I've been on the Bruins all year.
Yes.
I know they struggled with Utah. But again, I went back and watched that. I think they were physically dominated to an extent, but it wasn't like as bad as I think you would have thought, like based on like I don't know, almost your first watch. When you watch it back, they left a lot of points on the field. I think this defensive line's a huge, huge problem. I think interior, they're going to stop the run and they're going to make this Washington State team one-dimensional. And then I think they can get after them a little bit with the pass rush. And if these corners can hold up, I like UCLA's chances of slowing this Washington State team down. And frankly, I think with Dante Moore, I think he's going to have a bounce back. I think he's played really well.
All right. I like it. I mean, you if the UCLA fans you listen, like they know I like UCLA. This is a team that I think Dante Moore, especially, I think this defense is really, really good. They'll give me Cam Ward and the Cougs on the road, and I don't even need the points. They're winning this game outright. I watched Cam Ward. I watched that Washington State offense go against Oregon State, a really good defense that really gave Utah some problems at home last weekend. I don't know an answer to stopping this Cam Ward-led offense. I mean, Ben Arbuckle and this Washington State Cougs offense, it's so dynamic. It has so many different weapons, so many different ways it can attack a defense. And I'll throw in a caveat. They haven't been able to run the ball much as of late. Nakia Watson was banged up, coming off a bye week. Team should be healthy, ready to go. Give me the Cougs. The fellas in a little bit of a fight here. This is going to be an electric game. From a personal standpoint, wouldn't mind seeing either team win. I'm a massive fan of what both these programs are doing, both of the quarterbacks. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Let us know in the comment section who you guys are riding with this Saturday, and we'll talk to y'all later.